Society for Creative Anachronism earlier on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good, eh? Yeah, let's give them a hand. We'd like to show you a different kind of fighting. This is rebated steel fighting, and the first thing that we'd like to do is dispel some myths. First myth is that the Vikings had horns on their helmets. How many horns do you see on these helmets? You see none. That was a trick question. I'm glad that you got it on the first try. My students here at the university never get that one. We'd like to do something called Hollywood versus reality. And so you see in the middle of the fight field a mighty, chain-clad, bearded warrior with a sword of ancient lineage and his knife, the symbol of his freedom, a sax. And Brock the Drenger is the greatest hero that Dublin, Ireland has ever produced. And of course, in the films, you know that the great hero can challenge all comers at the same time. And so let's see how Brock does against this rabid, raving band of Viking pirates. All right, mix it up, troops.
This is the slow motion part. We're gonna stop double here.
All right, let's cut this thing and let's reset it. So let's get the warriors to reset for a second.
Retake.
And of course, that was intended to be exaggerated and comic and over the top and so on and so forth. But the point is that in a Hollywood film or in any kind of action sequence, it looks good, right, on the celluloid, but in real life, that kind of fighting wouldn't happen. So, Brock, are you ready to take on this band of ruffians once more? Teach this rabble a lesson? All right. So let's see a little dose of reality here. The lone hero holding off a small troop of warriors. And you know, after that, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one thing you can do. You can go through his pouch for loose change. There it is.
I got a new sword. New sword?
Well, why don't you give Brock a hand? He died marvelously the second time around after killing this troop of rabid Vikings rather marvelously in the beginning. Okay, what we'd like to do for you now is demonstrate some of the weapons of the Viking Age. We're going to start with a spear and a hand axe. The spear was the most common weapon on the Viking battlefield. It's one of the oldest weapons known to humanity. After our ancestors came down from the trees and decided that banging each other with rocks was a bad idea, they picked up sticks. And then somebody had a good idea to use the pointy end of the stick and sharpen it and stick metal on it, and lo and behold, the spear was born. So let's watch these guys mix it up. See some of the fighters also using hand axes. That would be a tool found in every homestead.
Oh, you got?
Come on, finish off that cripple. Finish him off. There we are. Yeah, that's what happens when you bring a spear to an axe fight, hey? Splash 2 spearmen. We're going to leave the corpses on the ground to litter the field, and we're going to see these axe fighters go after it again. Like I said, the axe was common on every homestead. You could use the back of the axe like a hammer. You could use the blade of the axe to shave wood as well as chop wood and fight. So let's see these two warriors fight and give them a hand.
Yeah, boys!
Get up! Get up!
In his guts! No happy times for him.
I'm a little worried. Carl, the questionable on the ground there, screams like that too often and too happily. But let's get these guys off the ground. Vikings, as you know, liked a variety of beverages. On the count of 3, I want you to yell as loudly as you can, ale, okay? 1, 2, 3. Ale! All right, and once they get up, if they get up, give them a hand. We'd like to show you what is known as the terror weapon of the Viking ages, the Dane axe or the long axe. This axe was probably originally developed for hewing, for chopping down great trees, and somewhere along the line somebody figured out that they could use that to chop down people and even chop through armored men and armored horses. This was the weapon of the elite forces of Harold Godwinson's army. Harold, the last English king of England, had an elite troop called Huscarls, and they fought with this great Dane axe. So let's see these two Dane axemen go to work against some shield men.
You're using the wrong end, lad. We'll take it up for you.
Oh, look at that. Now, you didn't see that, but that axe could be dropped on the head of an opposing line of warriors. You can use those Dane axes to hook and trip one's opponents. And there's a lot of love among men who fight with Dane axes. Now, folks, I got to tell you that these weapons are real with the exception of being blunt. They're not sharp, but they're replicas of archaeological finds. So they work the same way. They weigh about the same as these weapons, and none of this is choreographed. So these warriors have to learn how to pull their shots and give you a convincing performance. All right, here we are. All right, let's get these warriors on their feet. On the count of 3, why don't you yell the word mead? Mead is the favored drink of Vikings, and drink that was brought to us by means of trickery when the one-eyed Allfather Odin stole it from some giants. So on the count of 3, I want you to yell as loud as you can, mead, okay? 1, 2, 3. All right, there we are. And once they're back on their feet, we want to show you one more weapon. The emperor of weapons of the Viking Age, the sword. The sword is the only weapon in the Viking Age that had but one purpose. The purpose of the sword was to kill another person. Everything else we showed you was a tool. It had practical purposes beyond warfare. The sword has one purpose. In modern films and in a lot of recreation, you see tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of swords on the battlefield. In the Viking Age, this was not the case. This was a rare and expensive weapon for an elite.
Commander!
For commanders, says Thorbjorn. Thorbjorn's the stjóri, the boss of a ship. And let's see these guys fight. See some swordsmen fight, and maybe some other warriors will fight as well.
Fight by me! I pay well!
Salty!
He still owes me money! Badger, come on. All of us. I didn't hear anything. Well, now you did. Come on.
Nobody saw that coming. All right, on the count of 3, let's get these fallen warriors up. Let's say beer this time. Wishful thinking, right? 1, 2, 3.
Beer!
That sucked! You would have had a better chance if you'd let me stay. Well, we're in a fair fight, though. Each side needs a fatty.
Indeed.
Circle.
So that almost deteriorated into shield wall combat, but sadly didn't. There it is. Some things happen for a reason. We'd like to perform a couple of circles for you. We do several varieties of this fighting game. The first thing I want to see is a circle of honor. Okay. So we're going to see a circle of honor. I'm not in it, so there will be honor in this combat. All right. Warriors, are you ready?
Yes.
Outstanding. Well, let's get ready to rumble. Don't all stand around, hey? Mix it up.
Come on.
That's not.
That's not your size. See any blood? You must not hit me here.
So now it comes down to Thorbjorn the Story and Brock Dringer.
Are you not
Pick a
entertained?
warrior. Thorbjorn, bear claw scratches on his shield. Brock with that crazy yellow Irish design. And why don't you pick your favorite warrior, Brock or Thorbjorn, and cheer for that warrior.
Brock! Go Brock! Brock!
Now Brock has just done a very honorable thing. He's given Thorbjorn his weapon. If Thorbjorn dies with a weapon in his hand, he gets to ascend to Valhall, the Hall of the Slain. If you die without a weapon in your hand, that's it for you. You go down to Loki's daughter's realm, Hell, and you spend eternity in gray, misty misery. But it looks like Thorbjorn, like that one. Look at that, eh, Carl? Poor old Carl. Carl the Lame has no weapon in his hand, so he doesn't get to go drink for eternity. So Brock, you won the Circle of Honor. Why don't you call the dead back to life?
Odin! Release the glorious dead!
Especially Carl.
Rise! Oh, that's a real pain. Oh, I'm gonna clap when I run.
You know, one of the warriors hasn't risen from the dead, and Hagen has a favorite drink. It is not mead, it is not ale, it is not beer, it's not even that stuff that the Franks drink called wine. His favorite drink, ladies and gentlemen, he is in fact a milk drinker. His favorite drink is milk. So on the count of 3, why don't we bring him back into the land of the living and give him that drink that does a body good, all right? 1, 2, 3. He used to be an adventurer like you till he took an arrow in the knee. How about we have one more circle, but this time all bets are off. This is called a circle of treachery. Anything goes. All right. So warriors, get yourselves ready. Signal to each other in the crowd that you think you might be willing to fight. All right, milk drinker, we don't have all day. Running out of daylight here. Outstanding, all right. Get it on, boys, get it on.
Cheer them on, they fight harder! I don't hear anyone!
Let's go! Kill him!
Weapon in the hand! And that's why it's called the Circle of Treachery! Ladies and gentlemen, we're Nord here. I hope you enjoyed our performance. We'll be back later today. I have one final thing to do before we leave you and get the next performers out here. In the name of the old gods and tear one-handed, in the name of Odin Allfather and the White Christ, I call upon the dead to rise! From Edmonton, we have Hogan! From Winnipeg, we have Badger and Nikita! From Yorkton, we have this guy!